Welcome to the Game of Risk, everyone. I'm your host, OliveXC, a top player at this game, and today we are doing Tutor Tuesday, where I review a subscriber game and help them and you, the viewer, get better at the game of Risk. Today, we have a video from the BuckeyeTye, a new up-and-coming Risk YouTuber that already has over 100 subscribers over just 10 videos. This guy is a real deal and has a communication style very similar to mine. So as I start playing through this game right here, we can see right here it's a total of 6 players, no bots going on, and this is on 2 times speed because it's around 50 minutes. And somebody likes pausing this video, giving some analysis and my commentary right here. Want to make sure you guys aren't taking like too long, like kind of walking through like all of this. So we can see initially as the board is playing out right here and everything is going on that you're getting out of Australia right away. This is the right decision because no Australia, no win. Players will try to just kill you. So I really like that initial move, and I like how blue is looking to eventually move to get out of there as well for themselves. Your troops are most likely concentrated in the center, so that gives you opportunities to go for Europe or for Africa potentially. We don't know how the players may be deciding to react through all of this. The blue player is most likely going to be, from my perspective, getting to a conflict with the pink player right here. And this is because they have most of their troops in North America and only one side can go for it. The red player, it looks like, is going to be going for South America, but they also have a good position on Africa as well. And I watched your video twice, man. So I probably watched your video more than everybody else in the world in preparation for this. I mean, look at this guy, man. I'm just like drawing all around him right now because got to highlight the fact that he's like showing himself off. It looks like green is making a move going for the Europe continent, so it's important for you to be aware of that. So given the dynamics at play, mainly that orange is going for the Australia, red's going for South America, green is going for Europe. I would say the most important territory you need to be protecting for yourself right now is this 3 up top right here. And you don't do that because you're trying to give a path open for blue, but why would blue hit both of these territories? It doesn't really make sense. They're going to be focusing their efforts up more in North America, which they actually are. So I would have tried to put more troops out from Europe and into like your 5 because you don't want red to get the ideas to potentially hit that. But so far, no one's been doing anything crazy. Orange is immediately going for the Australia continent. And whenever someone goes for Australia early, and yeah, you can see right here, because your 2 got taken out right here, now it's going to be a lot harder for you to group your 3 back in, and you could risk potentially losing that, or making this position weaker, which you definitely want to be grouping in for yourself at some point. But the orange player, and a lot of Australians, especially at lower levels, just tend to be passive and never attack, hoping that because no attacks are taking place, that they're just going to end up winning. So you're really almost in a position now where you're forcing to make a lot of attacks in order to take over Africa, which can take several turns, and you have no idea to see how the South American player will react to you. Or you're forced playing a zero continent strategy. Zero continent strategies can work if the players around you are very aggressive and attacking each other. And this allows you to swoop in and go for kills right away, and actually maintain your troop count by getting extra cards and by taking additional territories over time for yourself. So it looks like, even though you did lose a 2 right here, you have another opportunity to get out of Europe right here, and you do, you fortify, and now you just have your 5 stack right here. The blue is nice, they would again find a way to move this, but they're on a one-track mind, they just want to take over North America for themselves, and they're hoping that the pink player moves. Well, there is really nowhere for pink to move, mainly because if they go into Europe, they're in a conflict with the green player, and if they go to Asia, they're just kind of like hanging out with you. And 2 players without continents just makes things very, very challenging, like overall. Now, you're very lucky right here, because again, you have no idea how aggressive or crazy the red player may be. They could have tried to roll down your 5, And if you didn't get a set on 5 and you're stuck with only about 16, 17 cards, someone on 4 cards could try to eliminate you and take you out. So you have to be very careful when you're playing a no continent strategy with a single stack, that you preserve every troop that you can to hope players do not try to eliminate you right here. So you need to move this 5 out right away because you have no idea how the red player may be reacting to you. You're unfortunately going to have to hit a 3 because there's no easy path around. Even the orange player just kind of left this stack right here with nothing that you can do about it. So we do end up going for the roll right here, and bam! You end up getting pretty good dice, only losing 1 on a 3. That's about average to slightly above average right there. But hey, we take those dice right there for yourself. So you're 23 in 4 cards. It's going to be very unlikely for anyone to try to eliminate you. And it's not going to be worth it. Because again, you need to eliminate someone for their cards when it's worth it. So if you had around 10 to 12 troops, I think it could be worth it. But at 23, it's unlikely that someone will be trying to hit you. Now, Red's case, not only did they get a continent very quickly for themselves, but now they're aggressively taking over Africa. This gives me the impression that the red player is wild, aggressive, and will play haphazardly. I want to stay as far away as possible from the red player this game. Leaving my stacks next to the red player would signify that they don't really know what they're doing. They would just maybe try to hit me, not understanding the balance of the game or even winning their own game. And they play on emotions, fear, and a lack of logical reasoning. When you're playing on the ladder and against players that are not at the highest skill level, identifying these tendencies very early on is critical to know how to play towards your advantage in order to establish a lead for yourself. So I would not be breaking the Africa continent right here. I would just be getting as far away as possible from the red player. And I would hope that they would, given how aggressively they're expanding right now, look to press on their advantage and attack someone else who's probably holding a continent for themselves. So and I love where you're placing your troops, by the way. You can't take out the Australian turtle player that's located down here, but you are able to access the green player if someone were to attack them. You can access the pink player right here and eliminate them. And you can go in towards the blue player very quickly and hit them in North America. You have so many options for yourself right now. So you always, if you're doing a single stack, you want to keep it as open and available as possible for just like that. What? The blue player just got slammed right there, and the red player is using their advantage for themselves. The pink player right here makes a critical mistake. What they should be doing is they should be putting everything on their 19, going down and then up, and then eliminating the blue player. Because if you're at 5 cards and 10 troops, it's just worth it to kill you. Again, the green player can be doing the same thing right here. They can put everything on their 3 and try to kill, or if they want to be safe, put everything on the 22 and go in and kill the blue player. It's such a jackpot, amazing deal to be going for a kill right now when you can. And I wouldn't really consider this a horrible mistake on the red player side because they had so many troops. You can see right here, they're still leading in troops right now, and they're having 2 continents. So they're advancing the game. So I wouldn't necessarily call it a bad play by them. But you correctly identify because both the pink player and the blue player, the pink player and the green player failing to eliminate blue, you can eliminate blue. And now you get a big trade in right here and are in a wonderful spot at this point. Still don't have a continent, but you have a lot of territory. So I would just get out of there and try to be in a neutral location, hoping that someone else will get into a conflict at this time. If things stay very balanced, where the pink player quickly takes over North America, you'll be the next player eliminated. But again, doing a 0 continent strategy is fine for yourself if the other players are very aggressive. If the other players are very passive, you need to do something right away to try to shake up the game. Let's see what the red player decides to do. They already attacked blue player before, and now look, they're attacking green. They're not letting other players hold continents. They want to greedily hold continents and break anyone else that gets in their way. They clearly don't understand diplomacy or the balance. So you want to be seeing other players attack them if possible, and pink goes in and attacks green as well. So green is just in a horrible spot at this time. If I were them, I would just focus on single stacking and holding off in Asia and hoping that the red player does something else to try to extend their lead and make someone else attack them. But instead, they just go hitting green, the red player right here, who could potentially have a set. I mean, look how strong they are right now. The weakest player on the board is picking a fight with the strongest. This is one of the worst things that you can do, because the strongest player can always eliminate the weakest player and still maintain the overall balance and integrity of the board. Additionally, as we have seen right here, the red player doesn't have a semblance of like diplomacy or balance. They play off like emotions and reasoning, just constantly attacking other players. If the red player is a set, they're immediately eliminated, which can happen fairly often. They may even, without having a set, just slam into the 21, knowing that they would survive anyway. When you're weak, you need to be very, very passive. When you're strong, you want to be aggressive in making moves. As the red player got strong quickly, they are making these moves right now. And let's see what they decide to do. And they got a set! Let's go! Yeah, so they immediately, I think, make the right decision, taking out the green player for themselves. Like, they're being crazy right now, but they're doing a very restrained form of crazy. And they're advancing the game, right? Like, they're doing things like back and forth. And look, you can see right here, they're still at 50 troops. They are around everyone else in size. And they're holding 2 continents for themselves. And they're basically saying, hey, if you attack me, I'm going to suicide into you. So even if they aren't necessarily like the strongest player, their style of play makes it so that if they get a very strong lead for themselves, that it's going to be very hard to stop it. And now the pink player, the weakest player on the board, is attacking the strongest one again. So now we're at like a critical juncture right here about what you want to do. I want to pause this right here. Like this, I think, is the most critical move of the game, because eventually it's going to be a 3-player endgame scenario. And one thing I really want to highlight right here, because you do have a set, is do you want to potentially try to eliminate the orange player? And here's my reasoning as to why. First, the pink player and the red player don't like each other. They both attack each other a lot and will most likely be in a conflict with each other. You never attacked either of them, which gives you the advantage in the 3-player endgame scenario. 2, Australian turtle players, unless they're like higher level, will just continue turtling in Australia and won't work with you if another player is getting too powerful within the game. And then third, even if you were to eliminate the pink player or someone else, the orange player most likely be a neutral party and can either work at best with you or against you, depending on how the flow of the game is going. You already know red is being very confrontational and will just attack anyone haphazardly, but we can't eliminate them right now because they're just too spread out and have too many troops. With the orange all right here, you would probably, given a good balanced blitz, lose about 30 troops, and then you would be gaining an additional set right here, like afterwards. And so if you lost those around 30 troops, you would be at around, including the set that you're turning in, around 30 troops. Since pink would be at 30 and red would be at 40, but of their big stack right here, and again, they're 11, they can't reach you because of this part right here being blocked off. Unless pink just wants to kill you right away so they get second place, you'll most likely be able to survive, turn in your next set, and then end up being like okay. So I think not going for this kill right here, given the dynamics of the play and how you'll be able to play this out for the long game, is I think a critical thing that you always want to be keeping in mind for yourself. Sometimes it'd be worth killing another player for their cards, when it's not worth it for their cards, sorry, if you can get a strong strategic advantage heading into the 3-player endgame scenario. So again, like you didn't trade in, you allow the orange player to trade in, and now the opportunity is lost at this point. You can no longer kill the orange player. It's just not worth it because they have the Big 10 trade in for themselves, which they're most likely going to have. So now we can see that the red player is attacking the orange player very, very hard at this time, getting their continents back. Pink is now very, very weak at 32 troops, and now it looks like again, like they're looking to pick a fight with the red player. And now again, we kind of come to that critical juncture right there where you turn in, you decide to eliminate the pink player. But again, what are you looking to accomplish right here? Like you get into the 3-player endgame scenario, but like one, the red player is going to attack anyone. They're probably going to attack you because you're closest to the red player. The orange player is so far away. The orange player can continue turtling in Australia and being fine for themselves. And you make a critical mistake right here. You leave your huge 13 stack next to the red player. Now it's a 15 stack. Huge, huge mistake, because what's the red player been doing all game? They see a big stack next to them, and then they hit it. The best thing that you could have done was to stay as far away as possible from the red player if you did decide to go for the kill. I would have preferred just like to wait, have the red player kill the pink player, because they would probably be losing about like 7 to 10 troops, and you can just play it off like from there. Instead, all the extra troops you could have potentially gained were like lost, and the red player just slams into you right here. You're now in a very weak situation. You can't do anything and are in just a very, very challenging spot for yourself right now. So the best thing you could be doing at this point is playing very, very passively for yourself, because yeah, you are able to trade in and gain those like additional troops, but when you're weak like this, if you would keep attacking, you're just going to lose. You do something interesting right here where you decide to fortify all of your troops in this location right here. I'm not sure if this is the best move, because let's say, for example, the orange player over-attacked like the red player and eliminated them around the entire board and just took over everything. They would potentially have a huge territory lead and get a large number of continental bonuses and have a huge lead like within like the end game. It can be very, very dangerous to leave your troop like isolated for itself if you can't do anything. You must leave your stack available to attack, even if it's in a non-threatening location. The best thing you could be doing for yourself is moving into the the Ukraine area right there. By going directly into the Ukraine territory, you give yourself the opportunity to be attacking the orange player or the red player. The opportunity presents it, while still being a passive bystander in the overall game. Instead, you're making attacks, trying to keep the red player's territory count low, but you're not giving yourself much opportunity in order to attack for yourself. So again, a critical thing, you've got to keep your army open and available to attack. Like, look at the orange player. All of their stacks are available to be hitting either you or the red player. So it looks like as the game becomes more dynamic, the orange player is proven to be a pretty advanced player. And look what the red player did, because they're very emotional. And then look, they left a big stack next to them. They hit it. It's what they always do. Because they get annoyed because the orange player is outplaying them, they bot out. You can see this movement right here. When the arrow comes up for a second like this, this is clearly a bot at this time. And now look, because you're stuck right here, the red player clearly gave up. You could have, if you have your stack located right here, you could have immediately gone to get the attacker's advantage, hitting the orange player and been fine. Instead, you kind of waste your initial troops like attacking a bot, because you have no idea how the bot is going to be reacting. This is also, by the way, why I like leaving when I set up my games on neutral bot, because having a bot just attacking and potentially winning the game now is just so annoying like this. So you have no set on 4. This is very, very unlucky. it's okay to wait a little bit more to see if the red player comes back. But you can see like you're running out of options right here. And yeah, you make, I think, the final critical mistake this game for yourself. And that is you attack into India. That was a huge mistake right there. You can see on the look in your face, you look a little pained. And look, you open up the main stack of orange to hit your stack and get the attacker's advantage. In this case, they didn't really get like the best roll, but they don't have to. They broke your main army, and now you can attack them with a big set trade-in and hit them. So I think that was like your another huge mistake in the endgame for yourself. When another player has trapped their army, like when you trapped your army, you want to keep that trap because you want to hit them. You don't want them to hit you. Because now look, the red bot's getting very, very strong, and most likely you just have to play for a second place finish for yourself. So you can trade in now. You just need to try to hit and get lucky against the orange player. You do get a relatively good roll going up +3, but there's unfortunately not much that you can do for yourself like at this time. The prior things that you did, like going into the endgame with orange instead of the pink player, leaving your troop trap stacked when the right opportunity came for you to strike and hit another player, then opening up another player's trap stack to allow them to hit you, were the critical mistakes like this game that caused you to go into this scenario right here. So as we speed up at this time, like a little bit like towards like the end right here, we can see the game is like about over like at this time. You and orange are attacking each other. You have no set on 4, which is very, very unlucky and unfortunate. Clearly the red player who botted out is going to be the one winning because you and orange just both went into a war against each other. And the way that it works is you finish like where your bot. So since the red player botted like out over 10 minutes, I think like they automatically like lose their spot. So you'll be getting like a second in place here. We always want to go for first. Let me know in the comments below if someone's like an automated bot, if they would actually be the one getting first place. I believe under the current patch, this has changed at this time. But we can see right here, bots tend to go for continents that are of higher value. Asia is worth a lot more than Australia. So the bot is going to be eliminating you at this point, and you're going to be getting the second place. So this was a good game. You have some incredible potential, both as a content creator and as a player. And I can't wait to see what you do. So if you're enjoying this content, please consider subscribing. But with that, this is OliveXC signing out.